Hey, what's up, everybody? So, first, let me just get rid of this for a second. Understand, I spoke to some of my hedge fund buddies, and they are so short this market. Next, everybody's waiting on CPI information data to drop tomorrow. So, before we talk about CPI data, we're going to talk about one thing first, and that's that the market has been trading a similar range. And people will say, I'm so bullish. Did you see yesterday? I'm so bullish. No, volume is extremely light. Let me give you the past 4 days closing numbers on the SPY, right? Yesterday, 409.61. Day before, 410, 409, 409. We're right in that range, 408 and change. So we're not exploding north, and we still have CPI numbers coming out tomorrow and PPI numbers coming out the next day. So the expectations are, what's the Fed going to do? We're heading into recession, right? So about 3 weeks ago, there was about a 50-50 chance basis points. We're going to raise 25 basis points next Fed meeting, right? Which is early next month. Right now, it's about 80% chance that they're going to raise 25 basis points. Okay. As interest rates go up, markets should face some downward pressure. Banking stocks, I don't know how banking stocks are going through the roof because banking stocks have earnings coming out this week and next week, and they're going to disappoint. They're all going to disappoint, 80% of them, 70% of them. So as banking stocks disappoint next week, that will control the market. Now, don't be surprised. I said we see a little pump going into CPI, and then we see a severe dump. Again, there are so many hedge funds that are short this market right now. So what's pushing the market higher? Well, it's lower volume. Lower volume is pushing the market higher. So I'm just pay attention. Please be weary, okay? I tend not to make wagers going into CPI or PPI. However, this market is so inflated, in my opinion, only my opinion, that I'm going to take a one-sided wager going into tomorrow, leaving close today whenever we spike the most. Now, yesterday, I was waiting on the sidelines. In fact, let me just bring up what I wrote on Discord yesterday morning so everybody knows how I trade, okay? Now, yesterday morning on Discord, let me just get there. Pre-market analysis, dropped a video, gave the closing Friday's highs. Look for that level. If we break that level, bullish, right? Here's another dark pool level, 408.30, right? 406 dark pool level. Where did we bounce to yesterday? We bounced on the low side. Let's see. Here it is. 405.97, which is basically 406. So at this time, when the SPY was 407, I was pretty sure we were going to see the next level higher. Did I think we were going to go back to 409.50? That's a great question because originally I did not. The dollar was spiking, which puts downward pressure on the market. So again, I'm looking at volume. We're still sitting at 407 come 12:33, so you still have time. Boom, we pop 407.85. I give you an update on my plan. Then I'm telling you, SPY puts, I'm waiting. What am I waiting for? The high from the previous day, 409.48. Again, I didn't have a chance to enter into those SPY puts, but it is what it is. Thank goodness, because SPY is went up again. But again, the past 4 or 5 days closed. Now we're right at 410, 409, 408 and change. So understand, those that are so bullish in this market, I would say be cautious, please. Please be cautious. Now, why? S&P futures had one of its trading days all year. Yesterday, talking about the futures heading into today. So again, it makes me so cautious in this market. And again, I already know all the hedges are shorting this market. The market is pumping on low volume. Now, yes, it could pump higher if CPI numbers come in, and CPI estimates are 5.2. If we see 4.9, if we see 5 flat, then the Fed will be doing its job. People will anticipate the Fed making rate cuts this year. All right, back to rate cuts, because rate cuts control the market. So a couple of weeks ago, the market was anticipating 4 rate cuts this year. Now, the Fed came out and said rate cuts, we're still going to hike rates according to inflation, CPI, PPI, Wednesday, Thursday. So pay very special attention. And let's remember, last CPI number, right? We came in at 6.0 flat. There were estimates at 6.2. Everybody was expecting the market to skyrocket. And what happened? It spiked and then it dropped. So the market got the number it was looking for, yet the market dropped. So I'm going to say to everybody, hey, pay attention to tomorrow's numbers. Again, I'm going to take a one-sided bet. Now, I'm not betting a lot of money, but I will find the best position and I'll say to myself, if we get a drop tomorrow, or if you want to be a bull, if we get a spike tomorrow, you're probably looking at, I don't know, 2%. So we can go, okay, 410, we close at 410. 2% higher is going to be 418. 418 and change is a dark pool level. I think it's 418.22. So if I was a bull, I would plan on the market going to 418.22 tomorrow. Now, if I'm a bear, and I'm going to make a bearish bet, I said to myself, 2%. Let's say we close around 409.61 where we're opening. I mean, it could be 408, 410, 411, 407, but 2% would put us right under 400. Well, we know 400 is a key level, so I might look at $400 puts, saying, okay, the market's probably going to go down to 401. We know the dark pool level of support is 402.50. If we break through that, we could go a lot lower. So again, it's a gamble on either side going to CPI. I will tell you the market's fading higher, right? It's fading up off really light volume. So again, light volume, lightest trading day of the year is the S&P futures. It is true. Hedge funds are extremely short this market. And again, I've reached out to some of my buddies. Now, I want to talk about trading style really quickly, okay? My trading styles, I know we're going into recession. I used to work for the hedge funds. I used to trade with the hedge funds. They take a longer term position. They take a lot more money than I'm trading with right now, but I'm still trading that same style, which makes it tough for me to day trade in and out because I know in a week where we're going to be. But as far as analyzing the market, at 406, I should have been in calls yesterday, and I waited. I kept saying I'm going to wait till the top and get into puts because I'm a bear in this market. So I missed my opportunity. A day trader would have said, we found support at 406 and we're going higher. All right. So with that said, next story, CPI next on Wednesday morning after 8:30 CPI data is dropped. And we're going to be live at 8:25 to bring in the numbers to see how the market reacts and to plan the day, to put together strategy. Because whether the market spikes tomorrow morning or dips tomorrow morning, there's still going to be a lot of volatility and a bunch of money to be made. All right, but here's the catch tomorrow. 10 a.m. tomorrow, Canada is raising their rates. Okay. So I'm assuming when Canada does that, we come out with our numbers, the market will start to have some psychology about it. Well, they raise their rates. We're going to raise our rates. Okay. We might see a bit of a dip. So that's at 10 a.m. Then we have FOCO meeting, FOMC, Fed minutes dropping tomorrow at 2 p.m. Sorry, I get a little tongue-tied this morning, losing my voice still. But the point is, these Fed minutes are not new, okay? There's nothing new to be said. Basically, the notes from their last meeting are going to be dropped. So we had all the questions, but we'll see all the dialogue and wording, and the market will react accordingly. Okay, next, I'm looking at XLF. Why? Because that's the bank's ETF. Again, XLF. Why? Banks tend to lead the markets. Bank earnings are coming out later this week and next week. If the balance sheets, when they come out with earnings and they talk about their balance sheets and their balance sheets disappoint, the banks will lead the market down lower. Now, what I'm seeing is there's been a ton of buying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of the last 10 days, there's inflow, meaning there's more demand than supply for the XLF Bank ETF. So I'm going to watch that carefully the next couple of days. Again, I expect banks to disappoint. All right. So I'm expecting, but again, the banks have their own clan, their club, their, boys club, girls club, whatever it is. The fact that they're like, okay, they always find the silver lining. Well, we missed earnings. Well, this was down. Well, this down. But we have a ton of cash. And then the other banks support each other. They buy each other's stock up, shit like that. I'm sure there's a conspiracy. There's no doubt in my mind there's got to be a conspiracy. All right. So 3 weeks ago, again, Fed chance of raising 25 basis points was pretty low. Then we spiked up to 80%. Now we're 75%. All right, here's a stat for you right now. Now, here's why I'm a little bearish in the market. You had Samsung report. Earnings were down like 96%. They were terrible. Samsung undercuts their competition, meaning they sell for cheaper prices. Sometimes they take losses so that they gain market share. All right. Now, but here's the other thing. Taiwan Semiconductor, which is a well-run company, said its revenue fell by 15% in March from a year earlier. Now, that's the first drop we've seen in 4 years at that company. That's Taiwan Semiconductor. Apple's PC orders or shipments plunged 40%. All right. And then we know Foxconn, which is an Apple supplier, right? They said they're having issues as well as far as sales go. So now we know Taiwan Semiconductor. We saw Samsung come in, right? Apple's making comments. Microsoft's down this morning. Why is Microsoft down this morning? Well, Alibaba came out and they said they're going to use AI, artificial intelligence, for all chat AI, for all of their platforms, for all of their applications. It's going into effect. So what does that do? Their competition, Microsoft, right? They beat Microsoft, Coke, and Pepsi. So what's happening? Microsoft's going down. Now, I remember a couple of days ago, tons of calls came in at 305 level, expiring this Friday. So I've got my eye on Microsoft. Do they buy the dip or does Microsoft hover? Because if it hovers, it's going to drop. All right. So if they buy the dip, then we have the people supporting the calls, and I know Microsoft's going higher, and I know the market's got to go higher, right? However, if Microsoft's just hovering, and I happen to think we might get a bad CPI number or reaction tomorrow, CPI might come in line, 5.2, right? Comes in line, we might get a bad reaction. Again, if you have been crushing CPI, go with your strategy. If you haven't, I will tell you there'll be a lot of volatility heading into CPI, so you can make money. You can make money end of day. You don't even need to trade until 3 p.m. to make money today. I guarantee at 3 p.m., wherever the market is, whether it's 406 or 412 or 414, we're going to see volatility. You're going to see a half point drop if the market's having a banner day. Now, if the market's getting beat up right at 3 p.m., you'll see like a 2-point upswing. That's just my anticipation of what's going on in the market. So most of today, I'm probably going to be on the sidelines. Why? Because I know we're heading into CPI. I know the market could spike into CPI. Although I think CPI might come into line, I expect the market to drop. Why? Because I know a lot of hedge funds, a lot of big money, they're short the market, and volume has been extremely light lately. Okay, so what else did I want to mention this morning? And if you guys have any stock questions, please let me know. Just another article about hedge funds reloading on bearish wagers. They have the highest exposure in over a decade, betting that the market will retreat amid worsening economic data and corporate earnings. Yes, because that's how hedge funds think. Like I say, I trade like a hedge fund. I'm so early sometimes, like a day or two, and things spike higher. But I'm correct about my theory or strategy and whatever it is. Let's remember Ulta Beauty, right? Ulta Beauty, I was down 50%. Only one contract, secured 100% or a little under. It went over 120%. You get out. Somebody say, oh, Ultra spiked yesterday. Yeah, that's the point. If we're day traders, we're in, we're out, securing profit. Now, I mentioned to Carlos, I'm going to try putting a couple $100 into a side account next week, and I'm going to try and make 12% per trade. That's it. Not killer trades and not trading the same way, liking a stock like Neo or Amazon or anything like this. But anybody's welcome to follow me if you join our Discord. But here's the principle. When we see a bottom or support and the market's going higher, I'll chase a little and I'll do a momentum trade and I'll secure 12%, because if you get it at 60 cents, what's 12%? It's 8 cents higher. 60 cents, 68 cents, right? It's not a hell of a lot. We're not looking for 60 to 600, 60 to 90, a 50% return, right? 60 to 240, a lotto play on Friday. No, we're looking for 12%. And when we call the bottom, even if it's not going in our direction, there's usually a reversal spike. And in that reversal spike, where I could have claimed 15, 18, 20%, I'm only looking for 12, right? So you take 12% and you do it 30 straight times, right? 30 times on your account. Your account will multiply by 30 times. Okay? That's how compounding works. So you have $1,000, you make that 12%, 30 straight times, right? Might take you 2 months. If you're patient, it might take you 3 months. But that $250, because we're all playing small accounts, and this is the one I'm opening, $250. If I make 30 consecutive trades, even if I only trade once or twice a week, it's going to be at $7,500, and I'm only looking for 12%. So when I made a posting, somebody said, well, Madoff, that sounds like a Ponzi scheme, man. That dude couldn't even make 12%. Yeah, he wasn't an options trader. He had billions of dollars under asset management. I'm talking about $250. When I trade, it doesn't affect the market. We're talking about 1 or 2 contracts. Yes, so that $250, what is 12% of $250? It's about $30, right? $30. So that $250 needs to become $280. Then 280, 12%. Well, you take 28, about $34, $34, 312 the next day or the next trade. Okay. Sometimes you enter into a trade. I'll buy one contract, $80. It goes down to $50. Okay. I add a second contract. I might be in that trade a full week to get that 12%, but still it's 12% and it's a winning trade. So when you open a trade, make sure you have the complete strategy. All right, I see we got a question. Let's head over to a question real quick and then we'll continue on with where the SPY could go today. All right, looking at Tesla earnings next week, it's been getting beat down. Do I see a possible upside? Well, we have some people, and I know Love was one of them, and she bought into Tesla. She's in the high risk roller room or whatever we call it. And she bought Tesla calls, $200 calls that expire this week. And I know earnings next week, but understand her thought process was just like yours. Tesla was beat up. Hasn't been this beat up since October last year where it went down to 110. So a ton of people, and I see it on the Twitter audience as well, were buying Tesla calls yesterday. Now her entry, I think, was $36. No, $26, $36. And I think it ended at $52. And I think Tesla's up probably pre-market. I haven't looked. So I do see upside possibility. I'm at a June Ultra call that expires 428 on my radar. Yeah, after the drop. See, okay, that's a great trading strategy as well. You see a drop, a hard drop off no news, no data. It's like earnings didn't disappoint. They didn't mention sales. It was just Ulta Beauty in this case, the second one that he mentioned, or she mentioned, was at an all-time high. I bought in my puts at 341, whatever, something 41, right? 541. Then it went to 553. Then I sold them. It went down to like 519. So at 519, 518 yesterday or 2 days ago, I'm assuming you got in your calls. Yes, you can go in 550 calls. Expires 428. Okay, so you have a lot of time. Now, the problem with Ulta Beauty is the volume on the calls or puts is so small that you have to plan ahead. So if I'm buying or selling calls, I would want to plan pre-market, put in my bid or ask, right? But I would go 20% lower. So if we get some volatility on market open, you have someone scarce selling you the contract that you want, and you're saving 20% because the bid and the ask spread is so wide because, again, low volume. All right, so that's that. Mentioned the hedge funds betting against the market. Fed funds rate showing 80% probability of 25 basis points. I heard it's 75, but 75 or 80. Again, we're going to see 25 basis point hike. Then the market had priced in 4 rate cuts going out to the end of the year. Now the market only has 2 rate cuts priced in. So people are going to be listening because the Fed keeps saying we're not going to cut rates. And the market keeps saying, yes, you are. 4 rate cuts. Now 2 rate cuts. Only 1 more hike. The Fed says we might need to continuously hike. All right. All right. So here we go. A recession usually is led 6 months of declining economic indicators. We've got 11 months of declining economic indicators. All right, 6 months. We have 11 months currently. An inverted yield curve, steepening out the inversion. Well, shit, we've been inverted probably, I'm just going to say a year. I don't know if it's a year, but it could be more than a year. Tightening credit conditions from rising lending standards. We already know deposits are lessening at banks. Interest rates are going up. And these smaller banks aren't lending to small business, and small business supports our economy. So, yeah, we're headed to recession. I saw someone mention Delta Airlines. Yes, Delta Airlines earnings play calls. Are they good? All right, so here's the thing. Again, if I was just a trader and I watched the stock and I looked at inflow and outflow and I didn't have any opinion on the market, then I would tell you, yes, your Delta airline calls are going to be good. Same with United Airlines. I mentioned that 2 days ago. However, I'm a bear, and for me to tell anybody to get into calls when I happen to think the market's going to drop would be silly. That's why yesterday was such a tough trading day, because I couldn't trade. I couldn't go into calls yesterday because if I was right and the market did drop at any point and I'm stuck in calls, I would feel like the dumbest person alive. So I'm just sitting on the sidelines. Again, I want to see how CPI plays out. But again, airlines extremely beat up. Cruise ships extremely beat up. Boeing, I know that there's a ton of support. Why? Because institutions like to buy best in class. Best in class is Boeing. However, I look at Boeing and I still think it should be under $200 a share. So let's talk about valuations of different stocks. Let's talk about valuations of big tech, because big tech's been running hard. Well, I think Meta's PE is in above 25. I think it's like 29. The only PE that made sense to me was Google. Google has a PE of 20. Apple's at like 29 after this recent run. Tesla's got to be back in the high 30s, if not 40. Talking about forward PEs, price over earnings. So the only one that makes sense to me is Google. And again, I mentioned that was Google was prior to $100 a share at 99, and then Google ran. So I mean, Google's probably up 14, 15%, and maybe even more in the last 2 weeks. So for me, it seems like chasing. But again, if I was a long-term investor, and again, that's what's controlling the market, long-term investors. I'm putting my money here. It's so cheap. I'm going to do that. Yeah, hello, Fred. That's funny. I love how you change my name every day. What's up with my voice? Sounds all sexy. That's funny. Okay. Anyway, so let's get on to more and more stuff. So I was looking at SPY puts yesterday. Again, I added to my watch list. It was up 14% when I added it. However, they closed pretty down. So I think they were down. I don't even know how much now. I'm just trying to get to any other interesting stuff. All right, let's just talk about the SPY. So let's get rid of Discord right now. Oh, actually, let me show you what I do with Discord real quick, and then we'll bring up the SPY and see where SPY is going today. All right, so let's bring up Discord because I start the same. I have the same routine every day where I will go into the flow and algos room. And this is all me right here, Matt N. Okay, first thing I do is I look at the top flow. Well, somebody mentioned Tesla heading into earnings. Top flow. What are they buying? They're buying Tesla calls, NVIDIA calls. Okay. On the other side, what do we see? Microsoft. Shocked that Microsoft is down. Apple. Now, I just mentioned the Apple problems, the 40% lower shipment. Square, I don't know. We got the Russell here, of course. Google's here. Amazon, big tech, which has been running hard. So again, sometimes I add these to my watch list. I might add a materials play like FCX or X US Steel to my watch list today. Just because I've been following US Steel. I know they had a drop. I know they rebounded. It's a bit of a crater. Then I'll go into the SPY dark pool levels. Why? Because yesterday I mentioned 405. It was 98 yesterday, so basically 406. When we dropped, where did we drop to? We dropped to this dark pool level. So if we do drop today at any point, where would I likely find support? If I'm in puts, where would I sell my puts? At 408.49. Why? Because there's 28 billion of dark pool, which will probably end up being support, the fact that we're higher there. So 408.49, if we drop past 408.49, where are we likely to go? We're likely to go to yesterday's low, which is 406, 406 flat, 405.98, but 406. So again, I'm looking at the dark pool level, and I'm saying, okay, it's right here, 408.49. So if we drop, I'm watching this level. If you're just going to get in a quick scalp and you're bearish and you get into puts at any type of spike this morning, the first 5 minutes, you see a spike, you get into puts because that's what you want to get out. I would secure profit as we drop to 408.50, right? We round up. Next level higher, pretty much a ghost level, only 5 billion, 411. So understand, if we break 411, then we're heading to 414. So yeah, we could run up into CPI tomorrow morning. We could close it, run to 414, come back, lose those 2 points I spoke about, close at 412. That's your bull case scenario. Your bear case scenario is, well, shit, we drop down to the 406 level where we saw support. We bounce those 2 points I mentioned, opposite direction, and we close at 408. So there's your summary right there. Bull case, we drop to the 408.50 support, go higher off there in anticipation of lower CPI, close around, go to 414, get drawn back 2 points, close at 412. Your bear case is we spike whenever we finally reject, and we might reject. What do you think? So we'll go over the dark pool level, 411.06. So let's say we spike off the morning open. I would look for rejection at 411. That's it. If I see rejection at 411, what do I think is going to happen? Spike to 411. So we go up 1.5 points on the SPY. And then we reject 411 and go down to 408.50, where the next dark pool level where we have support. So that's my trading strategy. Now let's say we just trade in between and I don't hit any of my points to get into my trades. Well, fuck, I'm on the sidelines. There's nothing to do. I don't have to trade today. I don't have to pay a bill tomorrow with trading money today. That makes the market a casino. If you look at the market that way, where you're like, I'm just gonna fuck it, I'll throw $100. If I'm right, I'm gonna go up to 200. If I'm wrong, I'll just start again. Well, then you might as well go to the casino and bet on red or black. 50-50, flip a coin. If you have strategy and you say, I'm looking for good entry, I'm looking for the market to spike, and I must see rejection. Now, yesterday I mentioned I was looking for puts, and I still FOMO'd at 3 p.m. with one contract because I was looking for puts, and I just kept telling myself, when it hits that level, I'm going to buy a put, I'm going to be right. It doesn't matter, but I didn't see rejection. I didn't see any rejection. We went up. We had a little drawback, but there was low volume. Rejection is when we hit a certain point and you see higher volume. Like when we hit 406 yesterday or 405.98, but I call it 406. When we hit 406, volume spiked and pushes all the way up to 406.40, but I saw this spike in volume, which I knew was support. So that's why I made the posting on Discord. Okay, we're at 406 and change. You can ride this up to 408.30. Now, I wish I had no opinion of the market. If I had no opinion, I was just a day trader yesterday, I would have rode it up to 408.30, and then I would have rode it up to 410, or wherever it closed at. But because I'm a bear in this market, it makes it harder for me to take bullish positions. So again, I could change that based on CPI and the market's reaction. If we see an explosion on CPI and we see, 418, then I'll probably say from 418, we're going to 430. And at 430, we could have some drawback. All right. So again, I could change my tune based on what the Fed does tomorrow. I mean, based on what CPI is tomorrow and PPI on Thursday. Just because tomorrow's CPI, don't think it's all over already because we have still Thursday. So then I'm back on Discord. I checked out the dark pool levels and I'm writing these levels down. So you know what you're looking for, So now I'll go. And I wanted to see Microsoft because I know Microsoft is off this morning and I want to look at the flow from yesterday. So what am I looking at? Well, net premiums for puts are still above zero. So they're telling me puts are still being bought. Calls, we saw a couple little spikes, but the spikes are going lower down and it's off this morning. So even if we open up down here on the calls, again, there'll probably be a spike. There'll probably be some type of right now market, this stock has dropped probably into this range. Oh, so that's another thing. We talk about, I hope I have it. Here we go. When we talk about bullish or bearish divergence, here's a perfect example. And yes, 2020 hindsight because I already know Microsoft dropped. But if you look on Discord, again, you have to be part of Discord. We use Tradie, takes algorithms and information. You can see it right here. But what is it telling me? It's telling me the stock price for Microsoft is up here. And it's telling me the algos for Microsoft's stock price are down here. So what is this? It's called bearish divergence. It means at some point they cross over. They cross over here. They cross over here. They cross over here. They're usually somewhat close to each other. When they get far apart like this, they usually have to come together. So if they come together, that means the price has to come down. So you can see this or find bullish or bearish divergences as well. There are a number of tools. You can use this room right here, and it tells you where you could do or what you have to type in. Right? Big flow symbol shows you the 10 largest option flows from the day. Well, shit, if it's the 10 largest option flows and I see something unusual, like all of a sudden I'll catch a Tesla or a Ford or something like that, then I'm going to play that. I'm going to jump on the tailcoats of that and ride that to victory. All right, with that said, my voice is out. Everybody have a great trading day. Please remember what I said, though. Be extremely cautious going tomorrow because even if we get a low CPI number, the market might react crazy and drop. Get a high CPI number. Market might drop anyway. Or we could still go up. Again, tomorrow's not going to be a low volume day. I mentioned low volume days not happening tomorrow. So tomorrow will be some good trading. Join me here, 8:25 a.m. We'll bring in the numbers together tomorrow at 8:25 a.m. Make sure you subscribe. That way you'll be notified. And I'll see everybody later. Have a great day. I'm headed over to Discord right now.